please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Mary Cole.
Here.
Trustees Richmond. Present. George Duberstein.
Here.
Abramson.
Here.
Georgianne Duberstein. Here. Priest.
Here.
And Williams.
Here.
We have established quorum. I need approval for the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Richmond. Aye. George Duberstein.
Aye.
Abramson.
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein. Aye. Priest.
Aye.
And Williams.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Excellent. No public comments today. Ladies, just so you know, these are students from Grace Lake Central. Okay. When you could normally come into the meeting if you wanted to address the board, you could sign in, put a little sheet, and then you bring it up here so that you can address them during this moment. Okay?
And bring donuts to it.
Bring donuts.
And
Yes, I will.
You want to explain a little bit about how we do these things also?
Yes, yep, I'm going to go through this, yep. So our board meeting on Tuesdays of the month, fourth Tuesday of the month, we get our packets on the Thursday beforehand. So it's an entire packet of information that all the board members can go through and contact anybody in the office, myself, the treasurer, the clerk, and find out if they have any questions or anything like that, and then bring up those questions for discussion during our agenda times. We have a lot of stuff that seems like we're going to go through quickly, but we've all read through everything, and it's just a motion, a second, discussion, and then roll call. Okay? The consent agenda. I'm going to read this little section here for your benefits. All of the items in the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a trustee so desires, in which event the discussion will be the first item of business in the consent, after the consent agenda. So in this consent agenda, we have approval for the September 23rd, 2025 regular board meeting minutes. We have approval for the September 2025 financial statements and approval for the October 28, 2025 bills payable for $291,139.11. So I need a motion for the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Richmond. Aye. George Duberstein.
Aye.
Abramson.
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein. Aye. Priest.
Aye.
And Williams.
Well,
Oh, wait. Was that not you?
excuse me, Mayor,
She,
but you might have made a mistake.
she has a different thing that she was reading off of. That
Oh.
didn't realize that was going to be read.
Oh,
That normally isn't spoken
That
out
normally
loud.
isn't spoken of.
So,
well, I meant.
what you have, your numbers are correct on your agenda.
Okay.
Oh, $138,879.98.
That's what I wanted to clarify.
Thank you.
Right. That's what I
Piece
wanted.
isn't normally read out loud, so.
Yeah, I did it for
No,
that
I-
benefit, so that you understood. So see how things change.
I just wanted to verify that we're talking about 138,000.
Not the 290.
Right,
Yes.
okay,
Okay.
yeah, I'll say that then.
Oh,
Okay.
Priest, and then Williams, you're just,
I'm sorry.
your approval.
Your approval.
Aye. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Motion carries.
It's an off day.
Yes.
Okay, reports and discussions, finance.
So, working with Kelly, we did a review of our spend with CSI. This was out of a concern that was raised about how much we're spending with CSI. We looked at it, Kelly and I did, and aside from what I would call a nominal increase because of just what they do and how our contracts work with them, nothing jumped out in our overall spend. But we did find on this building with one of the services they provide us, which that is a 42 credit with CSI. But had it not gotten caught, it would have continued and would have been additional money that we just paid them, not having to pay them, needing to pay them for that. So, and then just a quick little, I'll call it IT note. Kelly and I replaced the UPS in the server closet last Friday. So everything's plugged into that now, so the server's all back to normal. It's got the uninterrupted power. I did ask Israel if he could find a cover for the air vent that's in there. Otherwise, we will build up a ton of dust on the equipment in there and it'll lessen the lifespan of that building. So he's going to look into that for us.
Perfect. Anything else?
That's it.
I'm sorry, I have one
Okay,
thing
yes.
for finance. Last meeting, trustee Georgian Duberstein brought up about the bills payable report, and it cuts off certain characters that you can't read further in. And with our village clerk Christina, Ruby and I, we kind of looked at it, but Christina found the magic and figured out how to change. This is actually a form it goes to, not a real, it goes through a report, but it uses a form. And she found how to expand that form, so your accounts payable, that you should be able to read more of the description from now on. Thank you, Christina, for finding that.
Okay, Great Age Club.
Yes, well, a group of us went out for dinner to Eagles on the 13th, and then went to CLC to see a play, the 39 Steps. Our holiday party is Tuesday, December 2nd, instead of a regular meeting. And that's about it for that. I just wanted to make the announcement that the UPS store is now open. I stopped in there to say hello and welcome them. And so they're willing to get your packages. So I just wanted everybody to know that it's available now.
Any community events to report on?
Oh, I need to talk to you about the Civil War event.
Okay.
And we probably ought to start thinking about the dates for the party in the park, or whatever you want to call it.
That'll be a discussion coming up.
Okay. And we probably need to look at some dates for the compost event and the recycle event.
One thing that I just thought of, now that we have the new park, is there any way we could do a tree lighting or something over there, or one of the big trees?
I mean, in our reenactment.
Yeah.
I know that Israel and Wally are planning to get everything put up right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, somewhere, might even be next week.
Yeah, oh, okay,
I'll talk to them later on.
yeah.
The only thing is, we're not doing like
One big tree.
big tree.
Yeah. It's mostly the pre-designed light things that we purchased. We did add a couple little things this year too, in addition to what we had previously.
I noticed in the bills payable that you had some small poinsettia things, and
Yeah.
it was $1,600.
Well,
They're not really small.
They're not really small, okay, and these are the commercial, like we bought the trees last year, we bought them from the same company.
Are these light things, or are these?
Yeah, they're lights, they're
Oh,
LEDs.
oh, it's
Okay.
not a
No,
plant?
no, it's not a plant, no, these are like, I think they're 4 feet.
4 feet, I think there's 2 sizes, 2 or 3 sizes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, like that might be even 5, 4, and 2 or something like that, or,
Yeah.
no, we couldn't get the 2s, they were all sold out.
Okay.
There were 3s, I don't remember.
So Wally and Israel have been working together to make it look cohesive over here. We don't want it to look all hodgepodge, so we want it to look nice.
And
So planning out where they're putting things.
Okay.
And you said we're building, not doing it right away, we're building every year.
Yeah, right. I
Okay.
remember.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through budget this coming up, and we're going to add it into the budget for next year.
Looking forward to seeing it. Thank
And
you.
they also decided that they weren't going to light the trees out along the edge of the parking lot, just the building itself here, so that the lights stay more to
The park.
the green area over here, to veterans.
Are we making a sign for that?
Hi there.
Hi,
Come on in and join.
thank you guys.
Yep.
Sorry, everybody.
Christina, did you want to?
The only other thing I have to add is just letting everyone know we are an official Toys for Tots drop site. We have our box here in the lobby. We will be collecting new and unwrapped toys through December 11th.
Anybody can stop in during our regular business hours from 9 to 4, Monday through Thursday. Okay. The mayor's report. I did not print it for the packet because I wanted to bring stuff for discussion. So the first thing that I want to bring up, open for discussion, is our food trucks. Do we want to, I know Christina sent out a survey to the board members on, do we want to continue them? Do we have a trustee that is willing to take on the role of managing this? Because right now the village staff is doing it, and it really can't be a focus of their, they can help, but they can't be the prime contact for all of that. If we are going to, continue them, should we change it to a Friday or Saturday in June, July, and August, and just do a little bit bigger event where we have more things going on, like a game night, a DJ, family movie night, fun things in the park night, stuff like that. So that's a little bit bigger event for those 3 times in the summer. And then that would replace the party in the park. We wouldn't have the party in the park this year if we did those 3 events, June, July, and August then. So those are the things that I want to open up for discussion for you guys.
Well, one of the things that I was looking at was the fact that there's going to be a lot of construction going on next door next year, and that parking lot and everything else. So if we do something, we're going to have a lot of dust, a lot of heavy equipment around and stuff like that. So would we really want to do it when we're doing all that construction? And unless we move it off site, then the thing is, if you move it off of there, then you go, one of the park districts.
We were looking over at like the Union Square Park
Right.
areas where we were thinking about posting them.
Right, but then the thing is, you have to have probably porta potties going out there and everything else.
For the 3 times that we do it, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, it's something that we need to, decide if we want to continue. We don't really, it's not us that's doing it. We're just saying, food trucks are welcome to come here, but it's not really on the village of Hainesville, so to speak. We're just coordinating it. It's not really our event. If we moved it over to the park area, it would be more like our event because we would be doing more things with it. If we did like a bags tournament out there, if we did our big, Connect 4 and things like that, on a game night type thing, and maybe move the hours a little bit later so that it could accompany more people, get them more involved and stuff.
I know you mentioned that suggestion that we have 3 different events coupled with the food trucks, and that would eliminate party in the park for this year. But I do know that when we didn't have any party in the park one year, we got a lot of pushback from
Yeah, which is why I'm suggesting that we do the 3 events with a little bit bigger, not just the truck in the parking lot here at the village hall, you know what I mean? Kids come up here and they're sitting, Chris has brought up several times, like coloring things for them, rock painting things for them, so while they're sitting in the parking lot doing this, waiting for their food. It's not really ideal. It's not an ideal spot, so to speak. And especially with the construction going on, it's going to be really not a great spot for it. So if we are going to continue, we have to figure out where we're going to put it and how we're going to do it.
What were the results of the survey?
It was split.
Well, let me ask you this. The construction would be over by the time the food trucks start. Would it be?
No. The well house should be done, but now it's going to be the parking lot.
I know,
itself.
but
Yeah.
I'm saying, but they're not working at 4:30 in the afternoon.
But you still have the equipment, you have the dust, you have all that other stuff that's going to be around there. And people trying to maybe walking through there. We don't want people going anywhere near there.
What's the estimated time frame for the parking lot?
It's kind of up in the air right now
Yeah.
because of the well house. We had to push everything back because the well house was delayed. We can't say, yes, we can start working on the parking lot and then have big trucks come in and deliver equipment and stuff like that and ruin our parking lot. So right now, we were supposed to have the well house in place by March, but it's probably pushed now into May is what I'm guessing.
I thought we weren't going to do the parking lot till the next fiscal year.
It's on this fiscal year still.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
It's in the budget?
But it's, yeah, it's all proud of that, so it's been pushed, you know, and North Street too has been pushed too, so all of that's been pushed back.
You made a comment that the survey results were split, and then we didn't get a chance to go into that.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, how many people do you feel the food trucks are successful? 3 yes, 3 no.
Oh,
You know, scheduling, you know, if you selected yes, you know, should we charge, you know, $50, $50, refundable possibly $45, $75, $25, it's kind of all over the place there. Would you be willing to do it June, July, and August? Yes, once a month on those 3 months is fine. Some people said keep it Thursdays, you know, so it's literally split down the board there. So that's why I brought it for discussion, because I think that we need to discuss it. January is when Christina usually starts contacting the food trucks because they fill up fast. So it's been difficult for us to maintain a schedule with the food trucks on Thursdays and have them keep that schedule. There's many days where at 4 o'clock they get an email that says, oh, we're not going to make it there at 4:30. So then we either don't have it or they're scrambling, trying to figure out who can I call in the last minute. That's why we've had several weeks where there was like the taco truck came because they were the only ones who could fill in.
well, do you want to make some kind of decision?
We're just discussing it because we have to bring it up and decide whether or not we're going to do that. We can put that on the board meeting for next month as to make a decision. But we need to really talk about it. And then if we are going to continue it, we need one of you guys to step up and say, yes, I will manage this. I will be the contact, the liaison that's going to get a hold of the food truck people and get a hold of the people that are going to do the, you know, whatever the game night or the face painting or whatever we're going to decide to bring in. You know, one for each night.
I think that if we have the food trucks come on a regular basis, that we should have a refundable $50 that they should put up so that they have some skin in the game to show up.
I do think that they need to pay a fee, whether or not I think you, Christina, had said that a lot of, it's like a yearly fee.
We are one of, if not the only village that does not require a yearly permit for food trucks to be located within their village. We are the only village that has food trucks on their property. Most of the food trucks are somewhere else. We have a park district outside of the village.
Home Depot, wherever.
Correct, but they do require permitting for their trucks on a yearly basis.
If we were to do permitting or something like that, would that affect other businesses that bring in food trucks in the village too?
That would be
For
a discussion part of
Yes.
the, because it would all have to be part of an ordinance. This is something that
I
have
don't
to
think the
go.
permitting is as important as putting some dollars in it that they.
Well, there would be a fee tied to that.
Tied to the permit.
Yeah, but that, I don't know that doing it, I don't know, the yearly thing, because I think they need to commit to each, whatever week they say they're going to do it.
Charge them a fee of like $25 for every time that they say they're supposed to show up.
Yeah, or $50, but we would return it if they show up.
At the end of the season. Because otherwise Christina's going to have to stand there with the check.
Right.
At 7:30 at night and say, here you go. And that's not going to happen.
Well, she wouldn't have to be, I mean, if we were to do that, they could send the check out to them later on. You wouldn't have to stand out there and have a check be the thing. But I kind of like the idea, I mean, Georgianne and I spent most of the time for all these food trucks out there. And I see there wasn't always a nice influx of customers.
I think it's diminished over the years. that
Right,
we've had.
so as a result, I would say I like the idea of maybe having 3 or 4 special events with the food trucks rather than having every night
Designated
or every
every
week, because I don't think we either don't have the customers, or we always can't always count on the food trucks as well.
Right.
Yeah, I would second that also, George, I agree with you on that.
And if we were going to do a monthly event over the summer, I imagine we'd invite more than just one food truck.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if somebody backed out at the last minute,
At least
we'd
there'd
have
be
others.
a backup there, correct? Yeah. And, you know, if, even if we did the 3, we could still have a permit required to have a food truck within the town. Because I know that there's other food trucks that come like to the antique store and that kind of stuff. So I think just having a general ordinance that says we're gonna charge a fee for a food truck within Hainesville would be a good idea.
I mean, I have to cook on Thursday.
You can probably go to Home Depot or anywhere else, or any of the food trucks that are all over.
Drive that
I mean,
But yeah.
I was wondering about that too, because the 2 times that I came over, I think there was 2 people that showed up for the food truck, okay?
Yeah.
And it was just, and then the next one was maybe 8.
Yeah, I think it's a novelty, and I think at the very beginning it was very popular.
Right.
But there are so many food trucks now, anywhere, and if you don't like what's there, drive down the street, you'll find another one, right? You know?
Well, I think we're starting to compete with other things that are going on around, like whether it's an event in Grace Lake,
Yep.
right, like the county fair,
Yep.
or the fair over in Round Lake. Because I know the week, I think I was here with the food trucks the week where the county fair was going on. And, we really got anybody
Yeah.
over here.
And that's not fair to the food truck vendors either, because they, you know, they've got all that food that they've pre-prepared and ready to cook and, you know.
Many are
serve.
traveling from Chicago,
Yeah.
some that come from Oakville Village, things like that, and it's.
Plus the fact that if you have it coordinated with a special event of some kind, you're probably going to have more people.
Right, and if we do it on a Friday or
It
Saturday,
would draw them to
later
the food truck
in the
versus.
summertime, you know, it would bring the food truck with the food event, or with the event that we have scheduled then. I think our Party in the Park turnout was very good, and I think that type of thing would bring a lot of people out
Right.
for those
Right.
3 times in the summer,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about family events.
like a family event, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we tried to do a movie night or a movie time here, and 2 people showed up.
Yeah,
So I don't, you know,
just ideas that I was throwing out there, family night,
I think this is
you can even get the
another thing
face
that we
painters
should,
that we
that we
have.
should make a list of ideas that we have and send out a survey to the residents. I know you didn't have a good response on the last
They
survey.
usually
But,
get like 10
you,
people.
but you don't know, because each thing that you ask about is going to affect a different group of people. So that, and if nobody answers, then you can say, well, we put it out and you didn't answer, and this is what we decided to do. You know, for the people that affiliate about, there's not enough things for the kids, or there's not enough things for grown-ups, or whatever it is that, you know, you end up hearing. So I just think it would be useful, and the more we can get residents involved in some decision-making that's not critical, I think it looks good that we're at least asking their opinion.
I agree with Georgia, and I would think that that would also be an opportunity, because one of the things I like to see is more people come to our meetings, and so that might be a way of kind of bond with them and say, hey, you know what, I think you'd enjoy the meetings and we'd like to hear from you.
Yeah. So if we sent out a survey, like a constant contact survey, we would want to know, do we want to ask their address so that we make sure that they're from Hainesville?
So what I would ask from each of you is, if I am happy to send a survey out, but what I would ask from each of you is to submit questions to me that you think we should ask the residents.
Okay.
And then I will compile a survey from that.
Okay.
That sounds good. Yeah, thank you.
And then,
When we do
and
that,
whatever kind of parties you were thinking, because I had no idea what you had in mind.
For my nights that I had suggested?
Yeah,
Well, like
for
I said, like game night where we could do the bags out, we could do, I think we have like a big Connect Four, maybe a big Jenga or something like that.
I know my daughter and her friends loved it when they had volleyball
Right.
at
Right.
at the they enjoy playing
just
over Union
something
Square.
to do, and then there's
We
the
could
park
advertise.
there too, that the littler kids could always play on as well. But you could have, maybe we could contact the face painter and the balloon makers, that was a family that came to us for our party in the park. Maybe we have them come one of the nights, as part of the things to do, that kind of thing, so.
Village
Just
balloon
stuff like
nights.
that. Yeah, just some ideas that would make it a little bit
Yeah.
bigger
Yeah,
event, so that
Yeah.
it wasn't just the food truck, you come up and get your food eating type thing, so.
Georgianne, this might be an opportunity to revisit the Native American stuff that we were looking at before, and have that be one of the nights potentially. Because that is,
That'd be a good, definitely, that's quite costly.
That
Was it?
Yes.
Well, $4,000.
Well,
okay.
I mean, we could see if we could get an ethnic night, that, that we have such a diverse community that maybe we could get Polish dancers or Hispanic.
Free is what I'm looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
Free is the optimal word.
Right now, we don't pay anything with the food trucks, it's,
Right, but, something that would be a little different.
Yes, yeah. So come up with ideas, a few things that you think would be good suggestions of, one for each night type thing.
Sure.
That we can go forward with.
Time, when we send the survey out, let's time that, because then we could potentially use the social media push as well to remind people in some of the Facebook groups that want to, they're like, hey, the village sent out a survey, please look out for it.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just don't look at email, they don't think about looking at email,
Yeah.
and they look at social media.
Well,
They do, so.
My only concern with that is that we have a big Latino population over here that I don't think would probably, may not even use Facebook. So then we don't have those groups.
we don't have very much interaction on our Facebook page, definitely. It's very minimal.
I think it's more
The
individual,
individual.
community group.
The community groups that say, there's a survey that came out from the village, take a look at it, that kind of thing, so.
And I don't think we want to discourage people from other neighboring
No,
towns,
no.
because I'm sure they'd come
but
up
for
with-
the survey, we're looking just for Hainesville
Yeah.
responses.
Yeah.
That was the key. We didn't want to just send it out like on a Facebook post and say, what are your choices? Because you could be having somebody from Moraine Valley or somebody,
Yeah.
clicking on the stuff for us, so. That was our biggest concern. Okay?
So it's definitely not Thursday, so it's gonna be just the three.
I think that we should push it to the 3, June, July, and August, once each month, is what I feel.
That's good.
Okay?
I don't know what we can say, it's definitely gonna be one thing or another until we get the results of the survey.
We can put it out there. Okay? Okay, the next item that I had for open discussion was regarding our gaming ordinance. Did you pass that out? Okay. Did you print it? Okay. Christine's going to grab your gaming ordinance. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because we have had several inquiries into the old Firestone spot, the new Firestone location, open spots, and the open spots we have down here by Starbucks, of individuals coming and asking about bringing in a gaming, dining type establishment. Most of them are extremely discouraged by the verbiage that we have in our ordinance, because Christina has said, well, this is what our ordinance states, and this is what is, what we have in there right now. And I'm bringing it to our attention to look at. Christina has highlighted sections in here. One is the amount of percentage of sales from food, and the other section, I believe, is the full kitchen and the amount of what that basically encompasses, what a full kitchen requires of them. Most of them, when we've talked to them, have said that 50% of their sales is nowhere near what they would possibly ever do with food and the gaming. Most of them said it's between 15 and 20% is an average. Our ordinance says 50%, which is extremely high for that. So I'm bringing this up for discussion. Do we want to look at this more and revamp this ordinance so that we can fill some spaces. You know, an open space have come in with somebody that's kind of like a, what's the one out here, Lucky Emma's, where they serve food, they serve drinks, they have their game. But their food sales are not at 50%.
Well, let me give you a little history, because we went to Lucky Emma's, and it's gorgeous. It has wine racks, and it's beautiful. And then we've gone to some places that look like deli counters, and they're awful. And so our first thought was, can we affect what the interior of one of these places looks like? Because we didn't want to have the deli-looking place. We'd rather have one that was pretty. Well, legal says we have no control over what they do inside. So that was why we wanted to, we were dying to have a restaurant here. And so we were hoping that it would be a restaurant and then have the games in the back. And that was where we were then. There's still
A full sit-down, family-oriented type dining restaurant is what you're looking for.
There's one, I don't even know if it's still there, it's on Grass Lake Road and 83, I think. And, it's kind of, you go up to the counter and order and get your food. But you have, quite a bit of things to choose from. And then the gaming is not in your face.
Right.
So, that's kind of that we were thinking, rather than something that looks like deli counters, and I don't even know what they serve, but that was where we were then.
I know it's been very discouraging for anybody that's called to talk to Christina about it, because she brings up our ordinance and they're just like, there's no way. There's no way I could ever meet that.
I know it brings in a lot of money, and it would be,
Is that our goal, that we get a piece of the action?
That's kind of was one of my questions, was what's kind of financial impact for us? Are we talking?
I don't know off the
Tax
top of my
revenue.
head. I'm sure there is tax revenue that would come from it.
Yeah,
for
there
us,
is.
But are we talking thousands of dollars?
I told them when this before, and I don't remember.
Is it?
It's usually quite large. But again, filling open spaces. A lot of the inquiries that we've had on our open spaces have been somebody looking to do this.
And then the question is, how many of these are you going to let?
Well, that would be it. We would allow it as an ordinance, this is what's allowed. One,
Or two.
Yes, at the most.
When this ordinance was drawn up and everything else, we had a person who wanted to put a gambling facility over by Starbucks. But he wanted it to sell microwave sandwiches, and that's the reason why
It went into more.
it went into more of the detail. He wanted microwave sandwiches, potato chips, and then beer and wine.
Yeah.
And that's why I went into this sit down and everything else. We didn't want that type of establishment to be here. But nowadays, like you said, you have, the Lucky Emma's and whoever Bernie's is, I think that's and
They look more attractive.
right, and you don't have, we were always afraid of, there'd be people in there and also fights and everything else, but that's not the case. It's people just go there. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of retirees that go to these, sometimes, and it's just nice compliment, and most of the time you don't win, so you just
Well,
donate.
I know that Greg over at the Firestone, he's had several inquiries coming to him too, and he's turned them away because of our ordinance. So they didn't even get to Christina to say, hey, what do I do to make this happen? So I think it's something that we could probably talk about, revamp, maybe get some ideas, and then work on that ordinance.
I think my major concern is, we bought our house in 2003 here because of the very tranquil environment, and that just doesn't lead to that, especially with little kids. Just seeing that, oh, gambling, yeah, that's something that when we get older.
But
we
it
can
doesn't
do.
really, like, you look at Lucky Evans and even the facade, that's a strip mall out there.
Right.
It doesn't look like it's all run down, and there's not, people hanging out outside that are unruly or anything like that. It's just an establishment, it's another business, just like we have the Starbucks and the Chicago Dogs and the UPS store and everybody.
Well, I'll share with you where I come from with this. In Chicago, where we have our 3 flat, one of the major issues is that they open it up, and it's a big problem after you allow that to happen, and it just becomes an issue with people just, it just creates negativity.
I think Chicago's a little different than out here.
But start doing that, because you already see people that either don't follow ordinances or speeding everywhere, or, just littering after they drink. I mean, it just opens up the door for something more negative than being positive.
Would these establishments also be able to sell alcohol?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
It's actually it's required.
Yeah, it's
So
tied
it's
to
tied to
her
her
liquor
license.
license. Yes.
would there be age restrictions for families in all or part of the restaurant?
Well,
So within the ordinance, things that would not be changing would be, it can't be front facing.
Right.
The
So-
gaming portion of the business has to be, can't be visible from the front windows. It has to be closed off to anyone under the age of 21. So the restaurant portion still has to be the front facing portion of the business. That portion of this ordinance is not what we are looking to change in any way, shape, or form. And so that part is already established in there.
Do we envision keeping some percentage of the sales being required to be food?
Oh, yes, yeah, definitely.
Because many of the places that have gone
To be
to around
required
Lake
food.
have just been gaming establishments
No, we don't want that.
have a token, countertop pizza oven, even though they look nice.
Right.
They look great from the outside. They have a menu. Nobody goes in there and eats. It's
Just for gaming.
gaming.
Well, the ordinance right now states that they needed to have a full kitchen. They needed to have 50% of their sales coming from the food. It explains the full kitchen, what it actually requires of them. So we have to adjust that section. So the stuff that's highlighted on here. That's what we're looking at, yes.
What was the feedback, if any, from these various businesses that they would accept? So we know what,
The 15 to 20% of food sales seem to be the average, what they expect to be able to meet. So because it's tied to the liquor license and their gaming license altogether there, they felt that if they didn't meet that 50% food sales, they're going to lose their liquor license and their gaming license, so why bother? And they're like, there's no way that I could ever make 50% of my sales.
well, all right, so the 15 or 20%, is that their only concern, or
Yes.
might there be other concerns or suggestions as well that they would be happy with?
And the rest
You
is
mean of the
okay?
percentage?
No,
With
anything.
regard to
Any
any
portion of it?
portion of the,
The other section would be the full-service kitchen section. which
Yeah,
is what
because
we've got
Lucky
highlighted.
Evans only does sandwiches.
Yeah, sandwiches, we've had one guy that said they do chicken wings, they can do things like that, but a full-service kitchen is a restaurant kitchen.
Yeah, we don't usually get past the conversation any farther than, I'm never gonna make 50% of the sales in
Okay.
food, and the conversation doesn't generally go any further
Okay.
than that.
now, let's assume we were to do this at, say, 15 or whatever percentage, and we have them serving wings or something like that. Is that going to be some competition for some of the other businesses that don't have any gaming? And would that create any problems?
I don't think it's gonna create problems depending on, it's just another restaurant in town. You've got Chicago Dogs, you've got, the Wings Snob next to it, any more than any other business would selling food. So, I mean.
Other than it might be with the gaming might be another drawer.
You're probably gonna see more adults go into that if there's gaming in there, as opposed to taking your family into the Wing Snob or Chicago Dogs.
And if we have a couple of new businesses that come in with gaming capability, might not some of the existing businesses be concerned about, well, they did it, why can't we do it? And is that going to create some problem?
Well, it would be something that we would have to then, they'd have, it would be, do we allow this license? Normally you start, a village starts with like one for this item, okay? And then if there's a need for it, we could say, okay, we'll allow two. Say Wingstop decides they want to sell alcohol and they also want to do gaming, but they'd have to revamp their whole area to be able to do that.
Well,
Yeah.
Sure,
So
I thought
it's
the
still-
other 20 we were gonna give two because of the fact that vendors were supposed to come in,
Yeah.
and we only had one, and then they said, well, we need to do the extra one in case Benco's wanted and stuff like that, so I thought we already had two.
I don't know what's on the book for it, if it's one or
So
two.
currently our allowed Class A license, we allow one. If it came across that we needed more, it would have to come to the board to approve to allow more than that. And we make that decision.
Yes.
Are the people that are coming to you ones that own a bunch of other ones?
Some have expressed that, yes, but again, a lot of times, the conversation is, it just doesn't get that
Right,
far.
but the reason I'm asking is, if we knew that they had other
To look at.
businesses, we could look at what their places look like, and if we go, yuck, then we can get some, different, I mean, if you're saying that there's several people that are looking, that we should be selective in who we pick to be in there. And if they have more than one place in the area that we could look at to see what they've done, so we know what to expect, I think we should be able to say yes to one and no to another.
I don't know if it would be that particular.
Legally, I don't
I
know.
don't think we could do that.
yeah, I mean, because if they meet all the requirements of our
Yeah.
ordinance,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
we
And
have.
so we're back where we started with, we can't say it's good.
I don't know, my thought is that we were going to consider this, that how does the community feel? Will we want to survey the community, say, hey, we're thinking of X, Y, Z, what are your thoughts? And get some input from the community.
I don't know if, that's why we're here. That's why you guys were elected. You're representing the community. So if you want to reach out to some of your residents, you probably could do that. But I don't know if a survey would really be
Well,
something that.
We had a meeting and it was on the agenda and there were people that came, but in anything like this, it's the people that are closer that are gonna come out, and that's showing up pretty much.
With most of our surveys too, I mean, we get a handful of people only out of, 3,600 people in town. We might get 10 surveys back, maybe. And sometimes those are duplicates from the same people. So you really are getting 4 to 6 people that are sending the survey information to us on a regular basis.
I think with the word gambling, you get more.
I don't think it's that much of a concern to people, because if they don't want to go to the establishment, they won't. And, that's what I'm saying, and there's so many of them around, that there's, I really don't feel that anybody's gonna really say, hey, I'm gonna be on. Now, if you talk about gun control, this place would be bad.
Yes,
And it was.
and it was.
Yes.
So,
So if the
Yeah.
establishments want to have less than 50% of their
Food sales.
income from food sales, really what we're looking at is more of a tavern
Yeah.
that also offers food, that is a gaming facility that has a liquor license and may offer snacks. It's
More food-wise than just snacks. The original ordinance was set up to be a restaurant that would possibly offer some gaming, video slots or something like that. Whereas I think that it really should be more, it's a gaming facility that has food with dining tables and menu choices, but it's only going to be 15 to 20% of their sales in food that's actually going to be coming in to to maintain their liquor license and their gaming license.
How does our ordinance compare to like Grace Lake or Third Lake? I'm just curious, are they a little more lenient on?
Honestly, I haven't gone that,
Yeah,
I haven't gone that far yet, because we just.
Because we wanted to bring this up to you guys
The
first.
reason I ask that question is when I look at our ordinance and the way it's written, I think of barbecue productions over at Third Lake. Chris had the restaurant first, then he put gaming in the bar area, kind of like off to the side. He's got like 3 or 4 machines in there. So I mean, it's not undoable for a restaurant to come in and do this. I think it's a question of is somebody willing to come in and put a restaurant in the village?
That's what we have to do.
With by what I'm hearing is we have people who just want a gaming slash bar for the most part.
For the most part,
That
yes.
they want to bring into the village, which then begs the question of, is that aligned with kind of our long-term vision for the village? Like when we look at the comprehensive plan and we look at like what kind of businesses we expect to have in the village long-term, is this something that is a long-term business that we want here? Is it something that's going to last as a long-term business, to be honest with you? That's the other thing. So
The whole,
What is
the whole thing is,
Yeah.
can we support a restaurant with our residents in the village?
We had.
A full restaurant.
A full restaurant,
We
and that's the
had,
key.
from what I remember, when Jerry was mayor, we had 2 prospective restaurants that were going to come in. And they were going to have gambling in the back, but they couldn't staff it. And so that's why they never opened and we never got it. So,
That was before COVID.
So that's.
So, and restaurants nowadays, you all want to go in and then one waitress has, I don't know. It was, you've got one restaurant or one waitress for like, instead of having 4 tables, she's got 6 or 8 tables now because they can't even keep their restaurant staffed anywhere. So it's kind of, do we want to push it more towards the gaming side of it so that we can get a business in town that's also going to offer food for us?
I think if we were going to get a restaurant, it would need to be bigger than just one of the slots in any of the strip malls, because, for example, there's room as an outbuilding where Firestone is, and there's room in between the school and Russo if they wanted to put a restaurant there, or even if they were ever going to build anything on the other side of Cranberry Lake Drive, where we could get an actual standalone restaurant. I think this is just to fill some vacant spots that we have now. And maybe we need to loosen up our policy.
Is there any legality with the school district opening up gambling establishments?
Can't have it next to the school.
But there is a
Yeah.
distance.
Yeah, there has to be a distance there, yeah. But we've got 1 spot open in the UPS Starbucks Plaza. We've got 3 open in Firestone over here. We've got 1 open in the old Firestone spot. Land-wise, we have the land between the end of the Starbucks one and that house that's there. There's a piece of property. We have property that's on 134 that we do have somebody inquiring about right now.
Is that on the other side of
To build?
Cranberry Lake Drive, or the one that's
It's
on
the
the west
one-
side?
It's on the west side of 134,
Okay, that long narrow.
along with next to 7-Eleven.
Oh, okay.
So we have somebody actually interested in building.
Something there, yes. We don't know how far they've gotten yet, but yes.
Or what it is.
Well, we know what it is, but they're working on the
They
Lake
haven't
County
officially
side of
submitted.
things. Yeah, they haven't officially submitted anything to us, but they are making the right questions to the right people right now. So,
Okay.
Not a restaurant.
Not a
So this is not, so we're not voting on this, or we're?
nope, I just brought this up for discussion tonight because I want you guys to think about this. Do we want to go forward and change this and work on voting, changing the ordinance to vote on?
Do you want a consensus tonight?
Sure. Should we update the ordinance? Ann?
I say no, because I'm not looking for gaming centers that also serve snacks at a restaurant.
George?
I think there are obviously some risks involved, but I would entertain the idea of maybe looking at our ordinance again and loosening up a little bit.
Chris?
I'm a no.
Okay. Georgianne?
Yes.
Okay. Wally?
Yes.
Doug?
No.
Thanks. That's good. Okay, moving on to the rest of my report. No more discussion parts. Those were the two big parts. That's why I was like, I'm just gonna do this in discussion. Okay, so the next thing is I wanted to inform you that in lieu of the holiday party with the village board and the village staff, we're gonna donate to Avon Food Pantry again. They're very tight right now with all the stuff that's been going on. So we're going to donate $2,000 to them. I'll personally hand deliver the check this week over to them.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yep. And then I wanted to inform you that we did receive the grant from Lake County for the trees. Trustee Georgianne Duberstein, Dave Eubanks, and myself met with the vendor that's supplying the trees. We are going to actually receive 24 trees, 4 each of 6 different varieties that'll do well in the Meadows wetland area there. We're going to put them along the walking path in groupings out there. They will plant them and mulch them, and then we just have to water them, going forward. But they're supposed to be 6 to 7 foot trees that will be coming over there. So it'll make that path along the meadows very, very pretty. We also had in the budget to actually put in a couple of benches and little flower areas and then some like native plant signage in there too. That was originally part of a grant that we had to come up with the money, and then if we had gotten the grant, they would have given us half of it back. But it is still in the budget, so I think that we'll push this into the spring as well, because the trees will be planted in the spring, so that'll be a big project then in the spring that we can work on.
Awesome.
And then the last thing I wanted to do was give you an update on the well. This is Jerry's report to me. He said during the week of 11/10, the work area was staked out and labeled. All new lines, water, sanitary, well house pad, transformer pad, existing utilities, and trench locations were marked. ComEd erected a new pole back there that will be used to supply power to the transformer in the new well. ComEd speculated that the crew could be out this week to bore the new line itself into place. And then on 11/17, Linden, who is our general contractor, was on site and began the excavation of the new sanitary manhole and sanitary lines. They also began excavating the connection point where the new water supply line would join the existing lines, which is located near the southwest corner of the Public Works property. During this dig, Linden discovered that the existing water lines was high-density PVC, not the expected ductile iron. This discovery necessitated a different type of connection device that was not part of the original plan or budget. So when they do put this in, they are going to have to shut down water there. Jerry had thought originally that it was going to affect some of the businesses and a couple of houses, but it's actually going to affect nothing. We had John Robert from Robinson out looking at it, and he said, no, we'll shut it here and here, and it won't affect anybody. It is going to be a little bit more costly to do that, so we've got estimates coming from Linden, the contractor, and Payne, who are plumber. And then Darren Monaco from Gaywald, Greg Toff, and John Rucker from Robinson and Israel are all aware of the situation and will update me as things go. So that is the extent of my report.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
Number one, I gather from this that Terry is kind of overseeing things that.
Yes, so this was, remember I said that he was going to kind of be my liaison there. He has so much invested in the well project and knows so much of it that I'm not going to be able to.
Yeah, no, I
step
understand.
in.
I just didn't know, realize it was already on the job.
Yeah, yeah.
The other question is, since we're beginning to do some work on this, I don't remember unless I was sleeping in one of the board meetings, that we actually went ahead with the loan.
We have not taken out the loan yet. Kelly and I were estimating, we sat actually with our bankers last week or the week before, just a regular meeting with them. And at the end of the meeting brought up that we would be moving forward with the loan, but when specifically, we weren't sure. We had asked them to give us preliminary stuff for December for us to start looking at, to then possibly start forward with that, because we don't have any estimate when they're gonna say, okay, fork over 1.5.
Is there any money being spent now for this project?
I think the only thing we did send a check for was the comment portion, right?
Yeah, we've spent on the comment for them to do the work. And then we're also, with our contract with the engineer Daywall, for them overseeing this portion, we've been spending on that. We've not received any pay request from the current contractor right now.
So whatever we're doing so far is taken care of by what we have.
Correct. Technically, we could afford the whole thing, we just don't want to
Well,
drain our
yeah.
account, you know?
Yeah, that's good.
So that, we had come to that conclusion that we only wanted to do half
Yeah.
out of our account, and then the other half would come from the loan that Kelly and I would go to the bank for.
Yes.
Okay?
Mayor, just a question during your report period. I had sent you some information about Lake County making a proclamation about the use of their property for civil immigration enforcement. What,
My opinion of it is that you can't limit who can use public property. So like our public works parking lot, our village hall parking lot, anybody can pull into those areas. So legally, you can't say you can't do this just because you are ICE or you are, you know, the feds or whoever. If it's public property, then they can use it.
But the city does it, so why wouldn't we be able to do it?
That's, the city's doing their own thing. I don't feel that it's the right thing to do.
so just a question then, if I decided that I wanted to park and hang out in the public works parking lot and, you know, have a garage sale, I want the trunk of my car.
You wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do that, but if I or someone were to do that, that person would be totally okay? doing that?
No, but the whole speculation of that is you're saying this is where you're allowed to come in here, you're allowed to, like Asplin, if they were parking their trucks there, they're allowed to park their trucks there, but then nobody else can. Or the police can't, or the feds can't, you know. So you're basically making a stipulation based on that only.
Okay. I see your point. I was hoping we would send a message to our community that we are not okay with the civil enforcement. If there's warrants, if there are federal signed warrants, that's cool, but that is not the case.
Moving forward, law enforcement and the feds have jurisdiction, so we'll follow the law as it goes forward. Okay. Anything else before we move on to business? Okay. I need a motion for the approval of an ordinance establishing our regular meeting dates for 2026.
So moved.
Second.
I don't know that we need a discussion for the dates. Roll call.
Trustees Richmond.
Aye.
George Duberstein.
Aye.
Abramson.
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein.
Aye.
Priest.
Aye.
And Williams.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I need a motion for the approval of the work order for Triumph Court sidewalk design and permit for $8,000 with Gaywald Hamilton. This is the design engineering for the sidewalk connection between Triumph Court and the Washington Street, Lake County Division of Transportation biking path. This is to safety concerns that we brought up before about the crossing on Bighorn. The pedestrians were going to say it's better for them to cross at the light as opposed to crossing that dangerous spot there in the road.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Discussion?
So we got approval from the homeowners association, or we didn't need?
That portion that we don't need apparently,
Oh,
because their street is where their stuff ends. The rest of it is easement and then the Lake County.
okay. I got a question, didn't you?
Any other questions?
Yeah. There was a comment in the ordinance about right of way. I'm not sure I understood exactly what we talking about.
The right of way, the easement area?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like your yard has easement for utilities and things like that. That's an easement area, which is, we can use that at our discretion, basically. So this little sidewalk section is gonna connect Triumph Court to the sidewalk on Washington Street.
So it's this right of way, where it says this proposal does not include establishing the right of way, that means right of way for us. It has nothing to do with Lake County.
It's our, yes, well, it is their easement there, Lake County.
Is it?
Yes.
So the right of way already exists, so
Correct.
they don't have to.
They don't have to go through it.
Go through
Yes.
to establish a new right of way.
Okay,
Correct.
so they, all right. I'm just wondering where that right of way for them is in that particular area.
I'd have to look at their stuff.
We can move on to that later.
Okay.
Well, we're talking about their right of way now.
They're right away. Yes. Roll call.
Trustees Richmond,
Aye.
George Duberstein,
Aye.
Abramson,
Aye.
Georgiana Duberstein,
Aye.
Reese,
Aye.
and Williams.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, I need a motion for the approval of an ordinance adopting the annual tax levy for Cranberry Lake Special Service Area Number 1 of the Village of Hainesville for the tax year 2025 for $25,200.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Richmond,
Aye.
George Duberstein,
Aye.
Abramson,
Aye.
Georgiana Duberstein,
Aye.
Reese,
Aye.
and Williams.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I need a motion for the approval of the tax levy ordinance for the tax year 2025 for $530,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Richmond,
Aye.
George Duberstein,
Aye.
Abramson,
Aye.
Georgiana Duberstein,
Aye.
Reese,
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, and I need a motion for the approval of an ordinance amending section 8.24.100 of the village code regarding inoperable vehicles. This
So-
actually makes each day of the violation continue as a separate offense.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
I have a question, Mayor. So regarding inoperable vehicles, and not to mention any names, but that individual that had his car out there for, say, 7 days, he would have been fined
After the 7th day.
after the 7 days.
Yes, they have 7 days. Yeah. But it's more to address the violation will continue as a separate offense each day that it's not moved. So on the 7th day, if it hadn't been moved, the next day would be another violation. The next day would be another violation until it is
Okay.
moved.
Good, thank you.
Okay? And then roll call.
Trustees Richmond,
Aye.
George Duberstein,
Aye.
Abramson,
Aye.
Georgiana Duberstein,
Aye.
Reese,
Aye.
and Williams.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And I need a motion finally for the approval of our ordinance amending section 10.008.030B of the village code regarding overnight parking. All this changes is the permit dates from January 1st to December 31st. Currently, they are our fiscal year.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Can you elaborate a little bit more? I mean, I get it, but I don't.
So currently, the overnight parking, there are certain areas where you can get overnight parking stickers for your car. And it goes from May 1st through April 30th of the next year. It's hard to manage it when it's the middle of the year like that. So we're just adjusting it January 1 to December 31st
Okay.
is all we're doing.
Okay, thank you.
And roll call.
Trustees Richmond,
Aye.
George Duberstein,
Aye.
Abramson,
Aye.
Georgiana Duberstein,
Aye.
Reese,
Aye.
and Williams.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And finally, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
What?
Too late.
Now,
See, I didn't
quick. You gotta be quick.
I'll talk to you all.
All in favor?
Aye.